Good morning, children. Today we are going to learn about 7th standard English play Jane Eyre. Now let's see the writer Charlotte Bronte. She was born on 21st April 1816, Thornton, Yorkshire, England. She died 31st March 1855 at age 38, Howard, Yorkshire, England. Her resting place was St. Michael and All Angels Church, Howard, England. Her pen name was Lord Charles Albert Florin Wellesley. Her occupation as novelist, poet, and governess. Her nationality was British. Her noble works were Jane Eyre, Villette. Jane Eyre was a 10-year-old girl. She lived with her aunt Mrs. Reed and her three cousins Eliza, John and Georgina. As her parents passed away, Mr. Reed's house was in a town called Gateshead in England. Jane's uncle, Mr. Reed, liked her, but he was no more. Mrs. Reed did not like her because she was not her daughter. Her three cousins always ill-treated her, and Mrs. Reed locked her up in the red room. After this incident, Mrs. Reed wrote a letter to Mr. Brocklehurst, who is running a school at Lowood. Jane is sent to Lowood. There Jane is put in Form 4 with girls. It was a charity school which was run for the orphans. Jane sees a girl named Helen who was reading a book. She sits beside her and introduces herself. They become best friends. One day, Jane goes to meet Helen in Miss Temple's room. At past 11 o'clock, Helen questions why she came that part of the night. Jane tells Helen that she wanted to see her because she is ill. Helen says that you have to bid me goodbye. Jane thinks that Helen is leaving the institution and going home. But Helen says she is on her long home, last home. Helen says that she has faith in God and she is going to God. She says to Jane that she is tired of coughing and she wants to go to sleep. Jane says good night and leaves the room. Many of the children die in the institution because of the sickness. Helen too dies that night. Slowly the school improves. Jane spent 8 years in the school, 6 years pupil and 2 years as teacher. A week later, she received a letter from Mr. Fairfax from Thornfield. Jane leaves Lowood and goes to Thornfield. Jane was received with much love and affection by Mr. Fairfax, and she was given a room to rest. Jane had a pleasant sleep that night, and early in the morning she goes for a walk. Jane says to Mrs. Fairfax that she liked Thornfield very much and says that it's a pretty place. Adela was introduced to Miss Jane, and she says that her classes will start from tomorrow the next day. She says that they both of them will take a walk through the fields that surround Thornfield and learn about nature, animals and flowers that isn't in books, and also spend some time in painting. Miss Adela asks painting. Jane replies yes. She says that art is the window of the soul. Adela also says that she also knows to sing and dance. Jane starts teaching Adela and leads a new life in Thornfield. Hope you all understood, children. Thank you.